Have you ever dreamt of escaping the 9-to-5 grind and living life on your own terms? Well, we've been traveling full-time for 2 years as a family, and that is all due to remote income. In this video, I'm going to share 7 practical online side hustles that can help you make $100 a day online. So the first thing I have on my list here is online freelancing. And effectively what you're doing when you're online freelancing is you're basically a gun for hire for businesses. When you're building a house, you have contractors that go and do various parts for the builder. So you might have a concreter, you might have a carpenter. They're all subcontracted to, and they're all contracted by the builder to help build the house. Well, in the online space, the same thing happens. You have online contractors that help businesses build their businesses. Now, the beauty about online freelancing, instead of say being a carpenter, is that there is a wide variety of things you can do online that fit just about any skill set. And almost any skill can be transformed into a freelance service. So some examples of this are writing and editing. This is a huge in-demand skill, and this is things like copywriting. So helping people write sales copy, proofreading, checking grammar and spelling, ghostwriting, writing articles for websites. This is all under the writing umbrella of freelancing, and it's a hugely popular in-demand skill. And a lot of times, the only thing you really need is a good grasp of the English language. Now, another area is based around design and creativity. So this is things like being a graphic designer. This is the things like building websites. This is all those kinds of things that require a bit of creative nous. So if you're a person that really likes to draw, or if you're a person that's really good at like designing, there's plenty of jobs on the internet as an online freelancer to do that kind of thing as well. And trust me when I say just about anything can be done as a freelancer. If you are a drafter in a brick and mortar job, you can be a drafter as a freelancer. If you're a nurse, say for instance, where you have a really good high attention to detail, there's plenty of people that will pay you good money for that attention to detail. The thing you need to remember is it doesn't necessarily need to be a one-on-one transfer. You don't necessarily need to be a nurse in the brick and mortar world and be a nurse in the digital space. You need to peel back the layers and peel back your skills to work out exactly what makes you good at what you do, and then work out how to find the perfect job for you online where you can take advantage of those skills. Now, the beauty about online freelancing specifically is you get a huge amount of flexibility. At the end of the day, you are a contractor to these people, and because of that, you get to set your own hours. And a lot of times you can use the time difference between say the USA and say Australia to your advantage. Let's say for instance you can only work at nighttime, then you need to find a role that maybe that's the daytime in another part of the world. So if you can work the nighttime in the US, that would be the daytime in Australia. That might line up perfectly with what someone needs. And again, one of the hallmarks of working online is that it gives you location independence. You can do what we're doing and travel around the world. Now, it's not just a matter of jumping online and applying for these roles. You do need to do a few things before you start. One of those big things that I can suggest that everyone does is start to build a portfolio of things that you can do. So if you are a writer, or if you have a knack for writing, start writing things and building a portfolio so when you go to the market, you can show people what you do. Now, the next thing you could be doing is something like online tutoring. Now, this has a direct brick and mortar version of it, which is basically doing tutoring after hours for school kids, but online tutoring is a lot more diverse. So you could be teaching kids, you could be teaching adults, you could be teaching the elderly. There's so much you can be doing as long as you have a skill that can be transferred to someone else. So some of the classic examples of online tutoring are teaching English as a second language online to say Chinese kids. It could be having conversations with adults that want to improve their English. So we have a friend who is an engineer who does math tutoring for high school students with calculus and high level math, because she did that day in and day out, and she has a very practical understanding of it. It doesn't necessarily need to be a one-on-one application of your job on the online space. You peel away the core skills and you work out what you're good at. You could be a lawyer, say for instance, and you could be tutoring law students on how to pass the bar. Let's think outside of the box here. There's things that you know how to do that people are willing to pay you to learn, and you need to identify those and work out what they are and then go to the market with that. Now, tutoring is one of those things that I think people don't realize how rewarding it is to teach other people how to do things. And there are people out there that tutor for less than they probably are worth to the market just because they enjoy teaching so much. Okay, so let's say you're one of these people that absolutely loves being on social media, loves everything to do with it, and just loves being online. The next one I'm about to talk about is social media management. There are companies that will pay you to do social media for them. So let's say, for instance, you really enjoy TikTok and you have a really good understanding, or you've really grown your own presence online and you've kind of got a knack for it. Well, then why don't you apply to be a social media marketer? That job basically involves doing is creating and posting on behalf of a business that you work with. So for instance, you might work with an online school and you might be creating their content. You might be coming up with ideas and strategies so they can grow their online presence through social media. So obviously this one's in high demand. It's a pretty in-demand job, but it doesn't necessarily mean you won't get a shot at doing it. If you have a really good portfolio, if you've grown your own stuff, if you've got a really good knack for social social media, it's actually really difficult to find people with practical experience doing social media management. So don't let the fact that you don't have any experience working with businesses stop you from looking at this role and looking a little bit deeper. Because the thing is, if you have a natural knack for social media, chances are all you'll need to do is go on YouTube and learn a little bit more about the analytics side, learn a little bit about the reporting side, and maybe the strategic side of it, and connect that with your practical experience. And you're going to be very, very well set to become a social media marketer. And some of these social media marketers make a ton of money because a good social media marketer will get a tangible result for the business they work with. Thus, they're able to pay them more based on the results they get. Now, if you're finding this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I've got plenty of content on how you can get rid of that 9 to 5 and start living the life you've always wanted. Now, this next one's a little bit of a slow burn. It's going to take longer than the others, but it's a very rewarding side hustle, side gig if you really do enjoy expressing yourself. And that is blogging or vlogging. Basically, what you're going to be doing if you're blogging or vlogging is you're going to pick a topic and you're going to talk about it on the internet, right? The thing is with vlogging and blogging is there's such a demand for information on the internet that the internet can't keep up with what's required. There are billions of searches happening on Google and there's billions of searches happening on YouTube for all different types of topics. So let's say, for instance, you are a carpenter. You might decide the best thing for you to do because you enjoy writing is making a blog about carpentry and all the different projects that someone could do around carpenting could be what you go and do. And there's so many resources out there to teach you how to do that. But effectively what you would do is you would pick a topic, which might be like how to do a corner joint. And you would write a blog, take some pictures, write a blog about that, and you'd release that on the internet. And then you would get paid when people either click on links and you get a commission from that, or you get paid for every 1,000 people that go to that page, you would get paid by advertisers. That's how these people get paid. The same goes for vlogging. So vlogging is just a video version of blogging. So that might be you going out on jobs and like talking about what you do on certain jobs. Now, the beauty about that is that if you don't enjoy writing, it's a really good way to express yourself. And if you go back through this channel, we have done a lot of vlogs about our trip. Now, the way you get paid when you vlog is twofold. Firstly, you'll get paid by people who want you to advertise their product once you get an audience. So you do need to have an audience before you really will get paid to do this. But you'll get paid by people who want to advertise their product and get you to show and use their product. And you'll get paid per 1,000 views by YouTube itself once you get over 1,000 subscribers. Now, the thing is, I must warn you, it is a slow slog when it comes to doing vlogging and blogging. It takes years and years to really get the traction. But if you do get the traction, it's an amazing way to live a pretty awesome life of traveling around the world, say for instance, and vlogging it. So the next thing I have here is selling digital products or helping people sell digital products. So the thing is, a lot of stuff is bought online, as you can imagine. You've got ebooks, you've got things on Etsy, you know, like backgrounds and ideas and designs, and all that has to be created by people. Now, you can be one of the people that creates that stuff, or you can be one of those people that helps those creators get that stuff online and make sure it gets visibility. So the digital creator economy is massive. It's a huge billion-dollar industry. To the point, we have a family friend who sells digital embroidery online and she makes a bucket load of money. She just bought an embroider and she started coming up with designs and she started putting them on the internet, and now she makes a bucket load of money. That's how simple it can be. So you can take your hobby and passion and translate that into something digital. Let's say you're a mechanic, for instance, right? And you are really used to working on a certain brand of car. You could potentially make a mechanic handbook for that car or a maintenance handbook for that car, sell it online and make money every time someone buys it digitally. So you don't have to print it out or anything. You just put it on, say, Kindle, and then anytime someone buys that, you will get 90% of that money sent to you. The other 10 goes to somewhere like Kindle. The world is your imagination when it comes to digital products. Some of the best digital products out there are the ones no one thinks about. So don't be afraid if you can't write an ebook that you can't sell online. Sometimes, like I was saying with our friend who does embroidery, sometimes the best products come out of just your interests and your hobbies and what you know. They come out of that, and then you put it online, you find out there's a whole bunch of people around the world that are looking for exactly the same thing that you are selling. So this one here is a great entry point for someone that maybe doesn't necessarily feel confident with the skills they need to maybe vlog or blog, or maybe don't feel confident making their own digital products, and that's micro-tasking. So micro-tasking is effectively, and this is like online surveys and things like that as well, is where you basically are manual labor for micro jobs. So online surveys, for instance, you'll see them online all the time. You might get $1 filling in an online survey, but what that does is it helps a business do what they do better. So they'll ask you a heap of questions, they'll pay you $1 for your time, and then they'll use that information to make their service and product better. For instance, if someone has a voice app, they might pay you $60 to go and say 100 words into the voice app so it can get better at learning how to do it. But effectively, the beauty about microtasking is that you don't it has a very low skill level. So generally they just need you to do something very basic, and the pay is according. Like, you're gonna have to do a lot of surveys to make any decent money doing that. But if you're not comfortable being in front of a camera, or you're not comfortable writing, or maybe English isn't your first language, it might be a great entry point to getting familiar with the digital space and seeing what's available and what's around, so you can start to tackle some of the bigger, meatier stuff that can earn you that $100 a day online. And the final thing I have here is being a virtual assistant. I truly believe this is one of the best things you can do online if you're not 100% sure what you want to do. So a virtual assistant is effectively someone that helps someone else online. Basically, they're an assistant, right? So this could be from a creative aspect, this could be just from a general administration perspective, this could be helping someone booking flights. The possibilities as an assistant are endless. And effectively how it works is there's businesses out there that need help with all of the different things that they do during the day. So for instance, with my business, I have a virtual assistant that helps me with just the day-to-day running of that. So they'll go and check emails, they'll go and create processes and documents and things like that, go and send information off to clients. They go and do that stuff the same way an admin person would do that in a brick and mortar business. And effectively the skills directly translate. If you have a really good attention to detail, you have a knack, or you have a specific skill, like, you have an eye for attention to detail, or you're a drafter, then you could be an assistant to someone that has an online business, or even a brick and mortar business that has an online element, to help them do the job more efficiently. Now, the biggest difference between being a freelancer and a virtual assistant is that a freelancer generally works for themselves as a contractor, and a virtual assistant is generally employed by the company to work under their payroll for a set amount of hours in a day. Now, you may look at that as a negative, but the benefits still apply. You get to work remotely, you can work wherever you want, and you can generally set your hours. Like, the thing with being a virtual assistant is most of the time it's stuff that doesn't need to be done straight away. So because of that, you can effectively do it around your school hours, you can effectively do it around dinner time, things like that. And it's a very rewarding job. Like, if you get good at it, it's actually quite a high paying role as well for the right virtual assistants that get a lot of experience doing it. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe. And if you're looking for more legit job opportunities, make sure to click up here.